Welcome back, troops. Let's tab 59. Now, what in the name of all that's puffery, what is going on with the RAF? And they've apparently won the right now to be issued with vegan items of uniform. That's right, vegan items. So I want to look at it. I want to look at it from both sides, actually. I don't want to just be an old dinosaur, rip it all apart, but I'm going to a degree. So this apparently has been a long running battle with the MOD. Who's behind it? Well, apparently it's the Vegan and Vegetarian Network. I can only imagine what that group of people look like. Now, vegetarians certainly for some time have been catered for in the military with food. Even in my day, we had ORP, operational ration packs, what the Americans call MREs, meals ready to eat. Our operational ration packs have always catered, well, not always, but for a long time, have catered for vegetarians. I'm pretty sure now they cater for vegans too, but certainly vegetarians were catered for in the last part of my service. In fact, I had a vegetarian ration pack. It's not too bad. Not too bad at all. But now the RAF, and I suppose now that they've won the right to have vegan uniform items, I'm pretty sure that the Royal Navy and the Army will follow. That's what I'm guessing. RAF have kicked it off. So, what items are we talking about? Well, obviously it's going to be anything that's leather. So that's leather boots, leather shoes, leather straps like the Sam Browne that officers and that wear, sword belts. All those are leather items. Even on the sword itself, the sheath is the sword sheath is covered in leather, and there's like what we call the acorn, which is like a little leather strap that goes around the handguard of the sword itself. Obviously, leather gloves. All these items are leather. The leather band you can see on my berry, it's got a leather band around it. That will have to go. The woolen berry can't be made of wool anymore. So woolly jumpers, service dress, all made of wool. Lots of leather and wool items. They've all got to go and be replaced with fake leather, fake wool, or whatever they're going to use, I don't know. I'm wondering actually about the berries. Because if your beret is not made of wool, we shrink these. I've done a video on it ages ago, and most of you veterans out there and serving personnel will know. When you get a new berry, you dunk it in hot and cold water a few times, and it shrinks the crown part. You don't get the leather band wet. You're careful about that, but you dunk the crown of the berry in hot water, then cold water, and so on. And every now and again, you do it again just to keep the shape of your berry. Because it's wool, it shrinks. So obviously they've got to consider that, haven't they? Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of strange-looking berries out there. The Royal Air Force. You better spot a vegan when you look at the helipad on his head, or her head. I don't know, I'm making fun of it, but it's a serious subject, really. But you can't help laughing. I'm sorry. I'm a dinosaur, what can I say? So all those items are going to go. Now, in the current climate we're in, because we're at the moment, right, in the moment, the world's a funny old place. And, you know, we're probably the closest to a war since being in the Cold War. And it could turn hot. There's lots of threats going on with Russia, etc., I know. And anything could really happen. We don't know what's going to happen. But really, shouldn't the MOD, shouldn't the RAF be focusing on that rather than trying to cater to a few? Because I've heard there's only about 100 personnel that have shown an interest, current serving personnel, that have shown an interest in being issued with vegan clothing items. So it's quite a small minority, isn't it? 100. I mean, maybe more will come out the closet. I don't know. But we should really be focusing on the threat we're currently under. Let's go back to the Cold War. I always harp on about this, but let's go back to the Cold War days. We had 36 fast jet squadrons during the Cold War. 36. We've now got 6. That's it. And let's be honest, we've got no credible air defence for the UK. We've got no Iron Dome over us. We haven't got any drone protection. We have got that sort of stuff. We've got air defence, of course we have, and we've got drone systems, anti-drone systems coming out. But I'm talking, that's out in the field really, isn't it? Or guarding effort. The UK as a whole hasn't got anything. So shouldn't we be focusing on that? Shouldn't we, all our efforts, we should be thinking about that. And it's costing us money. This is going to cost us money, this vegan thing. Now, it's probably a drop in the ocean in the budget scheme of things, I know. Like I say, it's only 100 personnel that have shown interest, apparently. But, and as they get the supply chain going, once the cost will come down. Initially it'll be high, but once they start punching out these vegan items, the cost will come down to us, I'm sure. So it's probably a drop in the ocean, realistically. But it's just the hassle of it all and the focus, people spending their time working all this out when they should be working out how to defend the UK, our skies, etc. So there you go. Well, here's the other thing. Most of you that have been in an officer's mess or a warrant officer and sergeant's mess, there's great big leather Chesterfield sofas and furnishings. So does it, I mean, I don't understand veganism. Maybe I'm just too old and too thick. But are you then, if you're a vegan, against sitting down on a leather sofa or a leather chair? So what I'm saying is, are we going to have a separate sofa in sergeant's mess or the officer's mess for vegans to sit on? Because they don't want to sit on a leather Chesterfield. I don't know. But of course, looking at it from the other side, looking at it from the vegan side, if you like, it's difficult for me because I'm not a vegan. I like animals, don't get me wrong. They taste fantastic. I do love an animal. But looking at it from their side of it, it's not going to affect their performance, I don't believe. Because if you've got a fighter pilot in his jet, his Typhoon or whatever you want to call it, he's sat up in there doing his thing, his Top Gun thing, his Maverick up there. If he's a vegan, or she is a vegan, it's not going to affect their performance. They're just as good as a pilot, whether they're, vegan, wearing synthetic clothing, or whether they're wearing leather and wool. So it's not going to make them any different. They're not going to be any different, are they? They're still going to perform the same. But one thing that could be one interesting subject to this, or side of this, if you like, is especially with aircrew. Now, any RAF aircrew out there, please shout us a comment, tell me what you think, because you know more than me. But I understand that aircrew, because of the risk of getting shot down or coming down in hostile territory, they have to go through a certain amount of survival training. Now, I know that in that survival training, they cover the subject of trapping and preparing and eating wild animals, rabbits, birds, whatever. So if you're a vegan and you're an aircrew and you do get shot down behind enemy lines, wherever that might be in the world, hopefully it doesn't happen, but it could, what are they going to do? I suppose they're just going to eat grass and leaves and berries, things like that. But it depends, if you think about it seriously, I'm making light of it, but if you think about it seriously for a moment, if you're shot down, depend on the time of year and what continent you're shot down on, depends what's available for you to live off the land. Now, I'm imagining that in winter, there might not be a lot of berries about. There's not going to be many things growing. One of the only things you can eat is going to be trapping wild animals, rabbits, birds. If you're a vegan, obviously you're not going to eat that. Is that going to affect operational performance? Because you can't do that. I don't know. I know you carry a certain amount of rations on your person, your survival vest and that, but it ain't going to last forever. It can't be more than 24, 48 hours worth of emergency rations. Eventually you've got to start eating something. So, although being a vegan and a vegetarian maybe, it's not going to affect your performance as a RAF personnel. But surely in survival situations, that's going to be a bit strange, isn't it? So that's what I want to talk about, the RAF vegan uniform items. It's going to be interesting to see it coming out. I don't think any of these items are out yet. Maybe they are. Maybe they're trialling them. I don't know. It's only just come in the news. And I saw it and thought, what the actual is going on here? So that's what I thought when I was walking out today. It's a lovely morning. I was out walking and it just come in my head, like stuff pops in my Swede all the time. And I had seen a clip online somewhere about, there's not a lot out there at the moment, not that I can find anyway. But I know that I've got some fantastic subscribers that will have opinions on this from both sides. You might be a vegan watching this. Tell me to shut up. I don't know nothing about it. I do remember, actually, here's one for you, a real world incident for me, because I was at a recruit training establishment while I was serving, and I was on duty and I was behind the hot plate in the cookhouse, and we had some reservists come in. They'd just done their selection, they'd just got their uniforms, and they were on our camp, and they came in the cookhouse, and I noticed one of the chefs having a bit of a, not a heated conversation, but quite a serious conversation with a female recruit. So I went over to see what was going on, and basically what it was, she was vegan. Now this is going back, this must have been about 2010, 2011, around that time. So a few years ago. And she was saying to the chef, look, I'm vegan. What on this hot plate here is vegan for me. Now at that stage, we didn't cater for vegans then. As far as I'm aware, we certainly didn't. We did have vegetarian, we always had a vegetarian option on, but that's the difference, isn't it? There's a difference between vegetarian and a vegan. So she was harping on about, there's nothing on here for me to eat. I can't eat any of this because nothing is vegan. And then I said to her, because she was in uniform, well, your boots are leather. She went, what? I said, your boots are leather. I said, the band around your berry, that's leather. And she was shocked. She didn't realise. And there and then, remember, she's a reservist. She was a TA soldier. There and then, she sat down, unlaced her boots, took them off. And that was her finish. She went home. She sacked it. So when you look at it that way, maybe catering for vegans will be a good thing, because there might be a lot of people out there in Civvy Street that have considered, that are vegan, and have considered joining the forces and thought, well, actually, although I'll get vegan diet from the military, they're not going to cater for me with clothing items. I don't want to wear leather boots, leather gloves, a woolly hat, a woolly jumper. And so it's put them off joining. So maybe if we cater for, albeit a small minority at the moment, maybe if we cater for those, it will be an aid to recruiting. And that can only be a good thing, certainly in the climate we're in at the moment. So there's both sides of it really, isn't there? I don't think it'll cost us much. There's not many people want it, but we can look after them. And that's the most important thing, is looking after our forces. And it might be an aid to recruiting. People that previously decided not to join can now think they're catered for and join. Diversity. I mean, it won't look any different when I don't think it will. I think once they bring these vegan clothing items out, I don't think you really better tell that much from a distance when they're wearing it. So they're still going to have uniformity. It's not going to be any different, I don't think. And we've got the skills today to make fake everything, haven't we? So there you go. A bit of chat about the RAF and their struggles with veganism and vegan uniforms. Something I never thought I'd hear of. And as I say earlier in the video, I think it will knock on with the Royal Navy and the Royal Air, with the Army rather. I mean, the guards now, the bearskin hats that they wear, a lot of those are synthetic. But I think there's still some made from bearskin in the system. But I don't think at a distance, I mean, I don't know, I've never been in the guards. But I don't think you can tell the difference, can you? Any guardsmen out there know about that? Bearskin, synthetic or real? Can you see the difference? Not at a distance when they're on parade, certainly. But maybe up close, you can tell the difference. I don't know. So there. Let me know in the comments what you think on vegan uniforms in the Royal Air Force and where it's going. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Are we wasting time and money and effort? Let me know. If you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed, please consider it. But I'm not saying do it. I'm saying consider it. If you're a vegan, hopefully I haven't offended you. I wanted to look at both sides of it. Till the next time, troops, stay safe. Eat meat if you want to. And let's tab.